Hello, friends, and happy Sunday. Hope everyone had a good weekend. I am here with my Book Loft of German Village book haul. Yesterday, my friend and I drove to Columbus, Ohio, which is about a 3 hour drive, to go to this giant bookstore called the Book Loft of German Village. It is 32 rooms of books. If you are claustrophobic in the least, I would recommend staying away. There was a line to get in. Once you were in there, you had to wear a mask. It's very tight. Everybody is on top of each other. You're waiting to go up steps. You're waiting to go down steps. You're waiting to go into a room. When I wanted to go into the horror and sci-fi room, there were 4 people already in there, so I had to wait because it was very small. Unfortunately, I was bummed about that. They have bargain books. All of their books are 5% off cover price, and then they have bargain books. They have a whole room of bargain books. They have little pouches, they have totes, they have bookmarks, they have posters, which were super cool. I didn't get one. There were a couple that I would have picked up. There was one, they were all a whole book written out on a poster, but it was like the Frankenstein one had the negative space, Frankenstein's face, and all of this around him was the entire book. Tiny script. So it was a really cool place. It was really worth the drive. We ate at the Old Mohawk afterwards, which is about a block or two over. It is a German village, so there is also a place called the Sausage House, which is Haus. If you're from Pittsburgh, that's Haas. But we went to the Old Mohawk. We had an appetizer. We had Gouda and bacon bites, or smoked bacon and Gouda bites. They were just like little cheese curds, but they had bacon and it was Gouda cheese, and they were amazing. And then I had something called the Mama Mohawk, which was, now bear with me here, it sounds like a strange combination, but it was phenomenal. Chicken salad, roast beef, Swiss cheese on rye with a caraway horseradish dipping sauce. Whew, was so good. My friend had a burger. She said it was the best burger she's had in a very long time. And it was really worth the price. It was not super expensive. I believe our meals, and she had a beer, and we both shared a piece of carrot cake, which was, crap. I think it came out to maybe $50. I could be wrong, but it was really good. So let's get into the book haul. Before I left the house yesterday, my mail came, so I did get 2 books in the mail, so I'm going to start with those, and then I'll go into the books that I got from the Book Loft. So I ordered this book based on a recommendation from my friend Michelle. It's called Man, Fuck This House, and I'm going to read the synopsis on the back because I think it is going to be a really fun and clever book, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. Sabrina Haskins and her family have just moved into their dream home, a gorgeous craftsman in the rapidly growing southwestern city of Jackson Hill. Sabrina's a bored and disillusioned homemaker, Hal a reverse mortgage salesman with a penchant for ill-timed sports analogies. Their 2 children, Damien and Michaela, are bright and precocious. At first glance, the house is perfect, but things aren't what they seem. Sabrina's hearing odd noises and seeing strange visions. Their neighbors are odd or absent, and Sabrina's already fraught relationship with her son is about to be tested in a way no parent could ever imagine. Because while the Haskins family might be the newest owners of 4596 James Circle, they're far from its only residents. So it's about a haunted house, which is one of my favorite tropes, and the title. You can't go wrong when there's a curse word in the title. So I purchased that for myself based on a recommendation from my friend Michelle. This also came, it was a gift in one of my Facebook gifting book groups. This one's from Alexis, and it's Last Night at the Telegraph Club. Now, it has been on my wish list. I believe this is a newer release, maybe last year. So I'm excited to read it. I like historical fiction. It's about a Chinese American girl named Lily, and she was a lesbian in the 50s. So not only is she Asian, she's a lesbian. So I'm sure things aren't going to be good for her. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, this stack is my haul from the book Loft. So we'll go through these. I'm also going to read the synopsis, make it a video, make it a good, decent length video. I do have 13 books, and I spent $189, which for 13 newer books, I don't think is horrible. But I guess my my brain works differently when it comes to buying books and paying bills, I guess. So this book was a bargain book, and it is Fever 1793 by Laurie Halse Anderson. During the summer of 1793, Maddie Cook lives above the family coffee shop with her widowed mother and grandfather. Maddie spends her days avoiding chores and making plans to turn the family business into the finest Philadelphia has ever seen. But then the fever breaks out. Disease sweeps the streets, destroying everything in its path and turning Maddie's world upside down. At her feverish mother's insistence, Maddie flees the city with her grandfather. But she soon discovers the sickness is everywhere, and Maddie must learn quickly how to survive in a city turned frantic with disease. This is a young adult book, but I really like historical fiction, and down with anything about the plague, any kind of plague, to be completely honest. So I'm looking forward to reading this. It seems like it will be an easy read. It's only about, let's see, it looks, it would be nice if I could, there are no page numbers in here. Really? Oh no, there it is. That was just a preview of another book. Only 240 pages. So that should be an easy, quick read. The second book I got, this was just a regular priced book. This was the Vallencourt book of World Horror Stories, Volume 2. I couldn't find Volume 1. You know, I'm a completionist, so now I'm going to have to find however many volumes there are. This was printed in, usually it says on the back cover. This was 2022, so maybe there's only one. I don't know, maybe this particular edition was just printed in 2022. So yeah, I love horror, any kind, movies, books, whatever. And these are from all over the world. There's Switzerland, South Korea, which has amazing horror movies, so I can only imagine how good the stories are. Estonia, Greece, Nigeria, Bulgaria, Argentina are just some of the countries where the authors are from that tell these stories. So I love a good anthology. This one, so when I was making book ornaments this year, I came across this book on somebody's list, and it looked interesting to me, and then I found out it was a series, which made it even more intriguing. So this is called The Program. With suicide now an international epidemic, one outburst could land her in the program, the only proven course of treatment. Sloane's parents have already lost one child. Sloane knows they'll do anything to keep her alive. She also knows that everyone who's been through the program returns as a blank slate because their depression is gone, but so are their memories. Under constant surveillance at home and school, Sloane puts on a brave face and keeps her feelings buried as deep as she can. The only person Sloane can be herself with is James. He's promised to keep them both safe and out of treatment, and Sloane knows their love is strong enough to withstand anything. But despite the promises they've made each other, it's getting harder to hide the truth. They are both growing weaker, depression is setting in, and the program is coming for them. So there are 6 books in this series. This is the first one, and I also got the second one. The third is called The Remedy, the fourth is The Epidemic, the fifth is The Adjustment, and the sixth is The Complication. So I'm excited. All of the books that I bought, I'm excited to read. Let's just say that. This is Someday Maybe by Lauren Graham. She was on the Gilmore Girls. She was also in Bad Santa. I know she's been in other things, but I cannot for the life of me think of what they are. This is her. She wrote this book. I read her autobiography, which was hilarious and fantastic, which is called Talking as Fast as I Can. So the synopsis for Someday, Someday Maybe is it's January 1995, and Franny Banks has just 6 months left of the 3-year deadline she set for herself when she came to New York, dreaming of Broadway and doing some important work. But all she has to show for her efforts is a part in an ad for ugly Christmas sweaters and a gig waiting tables at a comedy club. Her roommates, her best friend Gein and Dan, an aspiring writer, are supportive, yet Franny knows a 2-person fan club doesn't exactly count as success. Everything is riding on the upcoming showcase for her acting class, where she'll have a chance to perform for people who could actually hire her. And she can't let herself be distracted by James Franklin, a notorious flirt and the most successful actor in her class. Meanwhile, her bank account is dwindling, her father wants her home, and her agent doesn't return her calls. But for some reason, she keeps believing that she might just get what she came for. So, everyone loves a good underdog story. And I apologize, I was distracted by my cat sticking his paw under the door. And I'm not going to let him in because he's just want to show everyone his butthole. This is The Happiness Project by Gretchen Rubin. This has been on my to-read list forever. It is a self-help / memoir. So Gretchen Rubin had an epiphany one rainy afternoon in the unlikeliest of places, a city bus. The days are long, but the years are short, she realized. Time is passing, and I'm not focusing enough on the things that really matter. In that moment, she decided to dedicate 1 year to her happiness project. In this lively and compelling account, now updated with new material by the author, Rubin chronicles her adventures during the 12 months she spent test driving the wisdom of the ages, current scientific research, and lessons from popular culture about how to be happier. Among other things, she found that novelty and challenge are powerful sources of happiness, that money can help buy happiness when spent wisely, that outer order contributes to inner calm, and that the very smallest changes can make the biggest difference. I'm hoping this helps my sads when I get big sad. This is called The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. For whatever reason, I purchased the second book first, so I had to buy the first book. 17-year-old Alice Proserpine, and her mother have spent most of Alice's life on the road, always one step ahead of the uncanny bad luck biting at their heels. But when Alice's grandmother, the reclusive author of a book of pitch-dark fairy tales, dies alone on her estate, the Hazelwood, Alice discovers how bad her luck can really get. Her mother is stolen away by a figure who claims to come from the cruel supernatural world where her grandmother's stories are set. Alice's only lead is the message her mother left behind: stay away from the Hazelwood. Alice has long steered clear of her grandmother's cultish fans, but now she really has no choice but to ally with her classmate and fairy tale superfan, Ellery Finch, who may have his own reasons for wanting to help her. To rescue her mother, Alice must venture first to the Hazelwood and then into the world where her grandmother's tales began, and where she might discover why her own story went so wrong. If you're from Pittsburgh, you know to stay away from the Hazelwood. Hilarious. These two books are 2 and 3 in a trilogy. I've got Legendary and Finale, both by Stephanie Garber. The first book is called Carnival. I'm excited, super excited to read these. These have also been on my list for what seems like ever. See, the problem with a to-read list or to-be-read list is you have these books that you hear about 5 years ago, and you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds really good. And then you're still reading stuff from 5 years before that. So then it's a vicious cycle. It just keeps going and going. So then you hear about books that came out last year and you're like, well, I want to read that while everyone's talking about it. Or you're in a book club and people are like, oh, well, let's read this book for our book club. And then you read that and you just lost time to read a book that's been on your to-be-read list since 2011. Not mentioning any names. It's me. I'm the person. This was also recommended in one of my book groups. It's called The House in the Cerulean Sea. Linus Baker is a by-the-book caseworker in the department in charge of magical youth. At 40, he lives in a tiny house with a devious cat and his old records for company. but his quiet life is about to change. Linus is summoned by extremely upper management and given a curious and highly classified assignment. Travel to an orphanage on a distant island and determine whether 6 dangerous magical children are so dangerous, in fact, that they're likely to bring about the end of days. When Linus arrives at that strangest of islands, he's greeted by a series of mysterious figures, the greatest mystery of which is Arthur Parnassus, the master of the orphanage. As Linus and Arthur grow closer, Linus discovers the master would do anything to keep the children safe, even if it means the world has to burn. Or worse, his secret comes to light. The House by the Cerulean Sea is an enchanting love story masterfully told about the profound experience of discovering an unlikely family in an unexpected place and realizing that family is yours. Oh, I just got a little chill. Who doesn't love a good love story? Guess what? This book's been on my to-read list forever as well. Probably not forever because I think it's a newer book. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Dr. Mutter's Marvels, or Mutter. I don't know how to pronounce that. Anyone has ever been to the Mutter Museum in Philly, they know that it's full of human oddities, bones of people that were different ways people were killed in their skulls. Just there's a cast of the I forget their names, this first set of Siamese twins. They're called Siamese twins now because this first set were from the country of Siam. There is a replica of the world's tallest man, Robert Ladlow. So I thought it would be really cool to read about what caused this doctor to make this museum and pull all these oddities. There's a display that is just tiny drawers of things that people have swallowed and or stuck up their nose. And there's pins and coins and candy. It's crazy. And it's one of the coolest things to do in Philadelphia. If you've never been, I absolutely recommend going. And while you're there, go to the Franklin Institute as well because it's also really cool. Guess what? This is going to be an undertaking. I will probably try to read this towards the end of the year once I know I've hit my goal of 75 books read for the year. This is House of Leaves by Mark Danielewski. The reason it's going to be a difficult read is because it's not just a regular book. It's written differently. There's notes and blank pages, and then there's pages where there's just 6 or 10 words written on there. And then there's pages written like this. And there are photographs in here, I believe, and there's pages with notes and headers and footers and footnotes, and it's going to be an undertaking for sure. So again, this has been a book that's been on my to-read list for a while, and I've always been afraid because of what I've heard about it. People rave about how good it is and that it's scary, but then I hear people say it's really difficult to read because of how all over the place it is. I don't know if you need to read the notes first or if you need to read the actual story first, or I have no idea. So I'm going to do a little bit of research and again probably read this towards the end of the year when I know I've hit or at least gotten close to my goal of 75 books for 2022. And the last book is a graphic novel called Did You Hear What Ed Gein Done? So it is about Ed Gein and what he did. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre was loosely based on him. Buffalo Bill in The Silence of the Lambs was loosely based on him. So this will be a good read. Over here are my graphic novels, these shelves right here. So I'll just put that over there, and graphic novels are usually pretty easy reads, especially when it's something that you enjoy, like true crime, serial killers, etc. So I want to thank everyone for checking out my book haul video. I should be back sometime this week with a subscription box video. I ordered, I can't remember which, it's like one of those boxes where you can try different foods from other countries, like different snacks. I actually have 2 of those coming. The first one is Munch Pack, and the second one will be Universal Yums. I'm still debating on whether or not I should try a third one called Snack Crate. They're all offering different specials. Like Universal Yums offered your first box for $1, and Snack Crate is offering your first box for $5. So I'm going to check them out and see how I like them, and maybe that will be a regular thing. I definitely like to try different foods. I haven't really tasted a lot of things that aren't from the United States, I guess. So this is going to be fun, I think. I think it will go over well. If you have any ideas or any kind of videos you would like me to do, please leave a message or a comment below. Please subscribe and like my channel. And I'm trying to hopefully have maybe, I don't even know how many subscribers I have now, but maybe 20 by the end of, we'll give myself to the end of March. So I hope everyone has a great day. Thank you for watching. Bye.